Hello and good evening and welcome to NWCL Beyond the Boundary, the first one of 2025. I'm Colby Donnelly and today I'm with Reed Cricket Club first team captain Will Wrathall. How are you, mate?
Hey mate, you all right? Yeah, good.
Will. So today I want to ask you about the previous season at Reed, the upcoming season and a few topics between that. You okay with that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Good. So first one, I know you, so can you introduce yourself a bit? So a bit about yourself, how do you get involved at Reed and your role at the club so far?
So I'm Will Wrathall, 25-year-old, captain of Reed. Um, I've moved to Reed when I was 10-year-old, so 15 years ago, from Burnley, and that's pretty much when I started playing for Reed. So 15 years, and it's a brilliant club to be fair. There's not much that I can say bad about it. To be fair, it's brilliant.
Real. So, looking at last season, obviously your first team had a very successful year. You won the Championship division, which for those who don't know is the second division of our first team league, and you also won the Hamer Cup. So, can we hear your thoughts of last season and how you thought it went?
It weren't a bad year, were it? I mean, even looking beyond the first team, I think second survived in that very tough division of theirs. They got to the final of the Ramsbottom Cup, and the thirds obviously won the league as well. So as a club, it's arguably the greatest year ever. Certainly while I've been there, as a whole club, that is, it's been brilliant.
And did you feel, obviously, you go into that Championship division after you only finished 13th, 14th for the year before?
Yeah, I think I sort of think we weren't ready for it. I
Yeah.
mean, a lot of people were torn in the club whether we wanted to merge and when we didn't. But and I just think we were it were wrong time. The club made a few changes and it's now ready for it, if you will.
Yeah. And what did you feel between the success of last year? What did you feel it was? Obviously, you brought few new signings in. You had a good pro. What do you feel? How what's the right way to put it? Um, why do you think you were so successful last year? Is there any reason behind that?
Uh, it's just a mixture of everything. I mean, pro stats don't lie, do they? Really, our pro was magnificent last year. Blade Capel, and obviously signing Chris Holt as well after a couple of games. It just boosted everything we'd already started off really well with. It was it was a little bit of everything. I think the club maybe needed to go into that second division to begin with, because we had such a high last year. Then whether if we'd have just scraped through, we'd have may or may not have been playing Div 2 cricket this year. But I think we're more prepared now. We've got a better understanding of other teams, and we're really looking forward to getting our teeth into it.
Great. And obviously, you came a cup, and you were very confident going into the game. And turns out you're right. You managed to bowl Italy out for 100 and not back down in 12 overs. Did you honestly think? I know you had a few Graham Hardcastle injuries to you. Did you honestly think that game would go the way it did?
I thought we were going to win, and I'm sure Little Lever thought the same. To be fair, you've always got to go into a game like that with a sort of bit of confidence, but not too much. But you've also got to back yourselves. But I didn't see it going, quite that way in terms of winning with 9 wickets with 30 odd overs or 20 odd overs left. Didn't see it happening. No.
Yeah, 'cause many people thought you would obviously the championship. Little Lever were challenging for the league in the Premiership. People thought there was a bit of a contrast there, but in reality, your teams and to like your team last year was much better for the Championship, and hence why you got promoted. So I think it was obviously I thought it'd be quite a close game. Obviously, you proved wrong, and it was a really nice day for it. Literally, they put on a great day of hosting it, and
Oh,
yeah,
unbelievable! Yeah, full credit to
yeah,
him.
it's really nice. Yeah,
But the Hamer Cup, it was just I don't really I don't really know what else to say about it other than we went in knowing we were the underdogs. Don't get me wrong, we were playing it like Div 2 cricket, like you say. And Little Lever, obviously, they speak for themselves. We've got a great squad. Um, but I suppose it was meant to be, and everything just went in our favour that day.
Mm. And we mentioned obviously Reed had a very successful last year, but whilst it was a big team effort, everyone contributed. You also had a very good season, especially at the back end of the season. You finished with 873 runs, with 300 of them coming the last three games. Obviously, the weather wasn't too great last year, and we had quite a few wet wickets. What do you think? What were the secrets between your performances, and what did you make of your season on an individual basis?
I was very happy with it, actually. I think as a cricketing fan, I don't think it could have gone much better. You say you dream of it, you don't really dream of it, but it's always nice to have a better year as you were expecting, and then obviously chipping as well. I think from a captain's perspective, I've been captain now for 6 years. So, which is, if you think, it's quite a long time. I took it on when I was 19, maybe when I was a bit young, if anything. But I've learned a lot along the years, and I know we touched on Blade, but Blade last year, he helped me so much. I mean, he's back home now, playing for South Africa here, and he's scoring runs there. So he's just learned so much from Blade, and also the strength in depth we've got as a batting side.
Yeah,
It's quite scary, really. So just being able to play my way, I'm not going to sit around and try and block it, if you will. I'm going to look to score, and knowing that I've got a long batting depth, I can go out there and I can do that, really.
yeah. What did you think was your most favourite game to play on? Because you got your century against your rivals, Padiham. You got your half century in the Himmer Cup final. You obviously got a few other centuries as well. But what game did you feel really proud of for yourself?
Um, I mean, lifting silverware is always nice. So obviously, Little Lever's got to be up there. But obviously, without Paddy, I wouldn't have got there. So it's very much a toss up between them two. I think what helps with the Paddy game is that I'm actually close mates with all of them off the field. Like, I actually play football for a team called Reed on a Sunday, and literally half the team is the Paddy lot. Toby Burrows, he's the manager, and we're actually really good mates. When it comes to actually playing on the field, it does get a bit, friendship sort of goes out the window. You're there to win at the end of the day. So when it's sort of like that, it's a bit nice to get one over on them.
That's good. So I've covered last year. So looking ahead into the 2025 season, which starts in a few weeks. So what's going on at Reed? You got any incomings, any outgoings? Obviously, you got new pro, and have any plans on and off the pitch this year?
So we've had a couple of grants, and we've we've been left some money by some people that sadly passed away, and we've put it all into the club. We've had it all fenced off around the outside, all new benches around the ground. We've took flagging up and we've tarmacked it all. And I were down there painting walls this weekend because it were the get set weekend or whatever they call it. And it looks unbelievable down there. In terms of on the field, we've actually had an unfortunate turn of events. We will obviously, like we say, we won the cup, we won the league, and we've lost two players in Matt Heap. He's moved to Australia, so nothing can be done there. And my beloved Z Barder, my good friend, he's gone to Cherry Tree to play with his brother. Obviously, he didn't have as much time in the middle as he'd liked last year, so I completely understand why he's gone. I'd love for him to have stayed, but we brought in Joe Marshall. I don't know if you know Joe Marshall.
Not sure, no.
No, he was at Reed for a few years. Then he went to Burnley, and he's won four I think 4 leagues in 6 years with them, and now he's wanted to come back. He works for Alti actually. So I think Alti's been nagging in his ear at work a bit. So we've lost two, but we've gained one. But we still got Zadian. Zadian's come back for another year. I think that's due to his loved one who's from the village, which is good. Um, and Sheehan, I know Sheehan from playing against him against Brinskull and Fenny Skulls. I think playing at Reed will definitely suit him, his playing style, and he's a very handy bowler as well. So we're looking forward to it.
And for me, from the Bolton club, I've never heard of your pro before. Can you give us a bit of hints of what his maybe his batting style is like, or um, obviously I know he can hit. From what I heard on social media, he can hit a good ball, can't he?
Yeah, so we got to a finals day before the leagues merged. I think it was the last year before we merged. We got to a finals day and it was down at Reed actually. And Fenny Skulls, who we were pro for, he got to the final and I think he scored like 150 or something. I was on my way to beat her actually, but I had to stay and watch it because we were just that good. Um, he got about 150 against Salisbury, and I've never seen so much clean hitting in my life. It was a joy to watch.
Wow.
So he'll bring some aggression, which is how we want to play. You know, for people who haven't been to Reed yet, it's probably arguably the smallest ground in the league. So there's runs to be made for him.
Yeah. Obviously, Reed's well known for batting track. I've never been to Reed, but it seemed like a nice ground. How nice is it as a batter to be able to play on a very good batting track for yourself?
I know, yeah, I know. I think Johnny Beach from Barnoldswick, every time he comes, he calls it a bowler's graveyard. Um, it's honestly, it's arguably one of the best in Northwest. It's just a joy, and like I say, with the boundaries being so small, clubs they get there, the who've not played there before in Lancs Cups, and when we merged, teams were getting like 200, and they thought, oh yeah, and it's like maybe 220s par, 230, 240s par. So whatever you get set when you're chasing at Reed, you know that you've always got a chance.
Mm. One topic I want to talk about, and I know you're not involved in it too much, is your juniors, especially in your second and third team. You have quite a few juniors in that team, and there's quite a lot of quality juniors as well. Is this something that's ingrained to the ethos at Reed, and how nice is it to see juniors developing with the help of your senior players across the teams?
Yeah, of course. Like I sort of run the senior side, and I also run my own business. So if I sort of helped out with the juniors as well, I probably wouldn't have a missus. But it's the Reed's a very well run club. There's so many people across so many people playing so many roles at the club. I always hear about juniors. A couple to mention: Isaac Spence. He's going to be a good one. Hayden Easton, Joel Leach. These are people that I don't see enough of, probably, but I hear about them being the club captain, and we've got a very well run junior section. It's very well run, like I say, but I probably shouldn't. I probably don't spend enough time with them as I should being club captain, but there's enough people with enough knowledge to help them out.
Yeah. Well, it's good to hear that you've got a good junior setup because if you're looking at your senior teams, if you don't, kind of bring your own juniors through, unless you bring them in from elsewhere, where you're going to have your team from, and how you got to think of how sustainable your club is. Obviously, we've had times where obviously you might have mass players leaving, and you got to bring your juniors into your team. So it's really nice to see that. Maybe for all clubs to take to use your club as like a blueprint and how to kind of develop your juniors in the junior setups into your third team development side and then into your second and first team because you can play your junior size 2020, but if you're not playing 45 over games and physicality and to actually play them games, it's probably not spoken about too much. So it's really good
Mm.
that obviously you have that. But I think we've covered Reed now. So looking at the upcoming season as a whole, so we've got new pros in many clubs. There's been new signings, new departures, and last year it was very competitive. Obviously, we had Blackrock and Little right to the wire, the title. We had a few clubs going for the Lancs knockout places, and relegation was quite close as well. So, how do you see the upcoming season going as a whole? So, not just Reed, so in the Premiership across all the teams.
Yeah, if anything, it's just going to get getting stronger and stronger. I think the overall league's going in such a good direction that each year the competitiveness and the standard is just going to keep getting better and better and better, which is obviously good. It's good for the game. It's good for our league. Obviously, people move on from clubs. They sign new players. They sign new overseas pros. So it's always going to be. You're never going to get someone who stays in the same position. It's always going to be sort of like that. If you want my prediction, uh, just from word of mouth, I think Farmworth will be the team to beat this year. I think they've had a bit of a clear out from what I hear. Obviously, it's over in Bolton, but I think they've signed a few good players, and I
Yeah,
think they'll be
so
the ones.
yeah, well, I'm going to interview obviously Farmworth's new captain Taylor Hayes. So that'll be coming out on social media soon. And yeah, I'll let him talk about it. But they've had quite a few outgoings and incomes as well. So like you said, they'll be up there. Um, but obviously, NWCL had had 2 successful years now. And when it was announced, I was at the meetings for the Bolton side. There was a lot of excitement there, but also there was quite a few concerns with travel and etc. I think all of them were quite nullified in the first year as soon as this first season got kicked off. But how have you felt the last 2 seasons of the NWCL has been in terms of the structure? Obviously, how first year was 24 clubs, that split up into 12 and 11, and this year to 12 and a 10. And obviously the quality cricket as well. So, what have you felt of the last 2 years playing in the Northwest Cricket League?
Um, if I'm being perfectly honest, I was actually one of the people who didn't want to merge. I touched on it before that the club at the time was very split 50-50, and I was actually one who didn't want to merge. But I think it's been probably the best decision for the Ribblesdale League, especially because two divisions just make it twice as competitive. Like this, when we were just the Ribblesdale League, there were teams that the seasons were sort of over after like 6 or 7 weeks because you've nothing to play for. If you get out of the cup and you're out the T20 and you sat near the bottom of the league, people just sort of give up. So the fact that there's more to play for and there's more cricket to be played, sort of thing, then I just think it's benefited both Ribblesdale League and the Bolton League massively. And like I said before, it's improved the standard, which is what you want. You want to be playing against better people, because it gets you better as a player, doesn't it?
Yeah. And is there any times where there was this year, the season before, any Bolton League sides or ex-Bolton League sides have come to your ground or you went there and they've just wowed you, or as individual players wowed you? You kind of like, well, wow, there's some side, and we're going to have our strengths tested here.
Listen, the pros and sort of the Bolton League side, they were just so much better than our pros, with all due respect. So it's sort of, and the pros are as good. I don't really know what else to say, to be fair. The amateurs I reckon they're pretty much on par with each other.
Yeah,
There's not much in it between the Ribblesdale and the Bolton League amateurs, but the pros, when we first joined, I think we played against 5 Bolton League sides when we first merged in that year, and I think 5 of them got 100 in the first 5 games.
What do you think's been the best part about? Obviously, you was quite apprehensive at the start. So now looking back at the last 2 years, what do you think the best part of being merged? Apart from the structure which you've mentioned, anything else that you kind of really got to you and you think, wow, this is really good about this merger?
Um, just playing more new grounds, like Little Weaver. That's a beautiful place to bat. Obviously, being a batter, um, just seeing like the different grounds, playing against new people, like I've already mentioned, and just challenging yourself. Yeah,
Yeah. And it's been obviously our on the social media, it's been really good seeing obviously all the new Ribblesdale side clubs coming into it, and everyone's kind of in great like, kind of invested in the clubs, into the players, trying to get players in, trying to um obviously trying to get their word out as well, saying, this is our clubs. Even if you look at the more smaller clubs, if you want to call them, everyone's done really well, and it's really nice to see how obviously Bolton League was lost a few clubs. As you know, I think Ribblesdale lost a few clubs in the last few years. I think the merger for me it's been really good, and I think many people mentioned travel, but if you would think it's all motorway traffic, you know,
Yeah.
traffic ain't too bad. So
No,
I think
no. I think for us, we're quite lucky, really. I think we're slap bang in the middle of
yeah,
everywhere.
not too bad. But so I got my last
Mm.
question here. Um, so, what would you like to see change in modern day cricket in the next 5 years, focusing more on amateur cricket on the whole?
Do you know what? You've given me a couple of days to think of this, and I still don't really know. Um, I like IPL, maybe Impact Sub or something like that. I don't know if
And
you've ever watched the IPL, but you can bring a substitution in, can't you, in the second half?
yeah, I think
Uh,
one thing about cricket, obviously, you got professionals in our league. I know some leagues down south. I don't think they actually have professionals in their clubs. So I think being able to obviously have professionals here, it's been it's been really good, and it's been helped to kind
yeah,
of the pro coming in, not just for the juniors, be able to say you've got a professional here. For the senior players, there's someone you can look up to, involves maybe senior players who maybe what's the word feel like they're better than a lot of people. A lot of people when they see a pro there, they're probably more they want to learn from them a lot. So I think that's really good for them to kind of see. And obviously we've got the 100 in this country. Obviously that's got a few split decisions there. Obviously, there's a league meeting tonight, so there might be a few changes in the future. But I think that's all
mm.
the questions I have. Is there anything that you would like to add about Reed or the league or anything?
Nah, well, I'll just touch on what you just said then. Really, with having a pro, I don't think there's anything better than having just one singular pro. Because obviously, like you said, there's a few open leagues about there, and then it sort of becomes a bit more there to win the league, doesn't it? Whereas if you can just pay one person, then obviously it's fair game throughout. And obviously you've got one person that you can look up to and sort of put the pressure on someone else's shoulders. I just think that's really important for the league to stay.
Good. Well, I'll be getting this on social media soon, and I'd like to thank you for coming on, and I wish you the best of luck for this season, and hopefully I'll see you soon.
Yeah, I'll catch up with you soon, Corby. Cheers, pal.
Phil, see you later. Thank you.
See you in a bit, mate.